actually takes a lot more energy in some sense, because the forces that are against the messages that I'm seeing around the room that we're going to be hearing in the days to come, the forces are great against it. You know, when you have a handful of companies that control all the corporate media, from large television stations and cable networks to your local newspaper, it's that much more important for us to come together in person to exchange ideas, to exchange hugs, and to empower one another, so that when we go back into our communities, we know that we're not alone. We know that we're part of a global movement that is here to expose what's happening to our society. When we see our Congress pass a trade proposal, we see them, and we know who's exposing themselves as to who's really for working people, as to who's really for the common good, or who's for simply corporate greed and profit. We see when we have these fights over healthcare, and I'm so happy to have the single payer movement here with us today. When we see folks that try to take our healthcare away, or that don't speak up against the corporate greed in the healthcare system, they're exposing themselves. But it's what we do when they're exposed, which is so critical, right? Right now, there's been so much talk in recent days about the Confederate flag and this symbol of oppression, the symbol of racism, and yet we didn't need a flag to tell us how much racism and oppression has existed throughout the history of this nation. That the original sin of this nation isn't in our past, it's very much in our present.
Right.
And we see it manifested in so many ways, in our schools, in our economy, in our education system, with homelessness. We see it manifested time and again. And unless we are true to ourselves as individuals and honest with ourselves about the role that we play in that system, then we can't help our brothers or sisters. And so the first step is admitting that we have a problem. The first step is admitting that we are imperfect and that we are subject to the same society that has these systemic issues from day one. When we acknowledge that we're part of creating that system, only then can we help to break down that system. And you are all, each and every one of you, part of that today. You are part of it today here in San Jose, and you're part of it when you go back to your neighborhood, back to your community, because none of us are going to be able to create positive social change alone.